We're live at the Heathman Hotel in the lobby here, the night before a big show at Jimmy Mac's with Grammy Award-winning Bill Champlin and mainstream media reporter Sam Beagle. And Sam, take it away.
Oh, thank you.
Hey.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Hey, baby.
Your water.
Thank you.
I was wondering, when you were...
It was my horn section.
Yeah. When you were growing up, who were your musical influences?
Well, I mean, when I was really young, my mother mostly. I was playing piano from the age of about 3 and a half to about 5 and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I kind of gave it up. I decided I wanted to be either a cowboy or fireman or some kid thing. You know,
Right.
It's enough of this prodigy baloney, you know. And which I wasn't really prodigy, but I was pretty talented. So my mom was kind of instrumental in doing that. And then as I was growing up, along came Elvis, and along came, calypso and that kind of stuff. A lot of different kinds of music got to me, and then eventually, probably in my mid to late teens, I'd say Lou Rawls, just R&B. Ray Charles got my attention without a doubt. When Lou Rawls came along, it definitely got my attention. It was very learnable kind of phrasing, and Lou, I just studied his phrasing. So, and I still find myself, especially if my pipes are a little trashed, I find myself going into what I call Lou. Oops, going low. Gonna go low, and I'm gonna go Lou. You know? And then what's great is that I was just a big giant fan of Lou's, and then later on we became friends. A few years later, and then I started working on his records.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I sang on one or two
Oh,
records.
cool.
And we ended up having a really good time. He's a real sweet guy. I was really sad when he passed away. But,
I bet.
Just a great, so much better singer than most people give him credit for. I mean, Ray Charles obviously is like, that was not even a human being. That was a primal force. That guy's ridiculous, And Stevie Wonder, and I had a guy tell me years ago, he's like, man, never be afraid to steal. Just steal from everybody and forget who you stole it from. And then, if Willie Nelson does something you like, learn it. And then Ray Charles does something you like, learn it. And if, Robert Goulet does something you like, learn it. Put them together, and you'll end up with this combination of those three things. You'll end up with yours.
Yeah.
So I kind of, he said steal, but always steal from as many people as you can.
Oh, that makes sense.
And just forget who you're stealing from, and just steal the stuff that you like. Because, there's only 12 notes.
Right. Absolutely. Who was the individual when you were younger that told you that you were going to make it?
Probably my mother.
Okay.
Yeah. She was really a fine musician. Really good musician.
And
crazy woman, but, out of her tree, boozed out, crazed woman, in and out. Sometimes she was sober, sometimes she wasn't. But really very talented person. And she could see it in me without a doubt. And then, different music teachers along the line, along the way said, whoa, this guy's got something going on.
And what did you play as a youngster?
I started off on piano.
Did you?
I think everybody should always, I know how to, I don't play them all well, but I know kind of the basics of most of the instruments.
Oh, wow.
Just the basics. I learned to play trumpet just to understand what that was about. What is this about? The fingering versus the embouchure. And saxophones. I played Barry sax in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The first Sons album, all the Barry sax stuff is me.
Oh,
Loose
wow.
Album, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
But because it was just a couple of years out of high school, and I still had some chops, but I ain't that great. I was just like, okay, this is. But most of it was just really understanding, because I figured I'd get a master's in music, which I didn't. My kids got a BA, but I got a BA, a bad attitude, but other than that, beats a bare ass. I guess,
well, yeah, no, definitely. And
but,
did you get much encouragement from your folks?
My mom, I got to hand it to her. As crazy as she was, and as kind of vindictive as she was in a lot of ways later on in her life, she was always very supportive of mine and both my sisters our music. My sisters were both taking opera.
Oh, wow.
They were into that. There was a lot of different sides of music, and there was a lot of musical comedy. There was a lot of what they enjoyed. And meantime, I'm going, nobody should sing like that. Jimmy Reed doesn't sing like that. Why should you? You know, that kind of thing. But she was supportive.
That's cool. Of all of the songs that you've ever written and performed, which one is your favorite?
Oh God, it depends on what day is it. What did I have for breakfast is going to change that one up. You know, I've always really liked "Light Up the Candles." It's just something about it. It just has a real deep piece, thing to it. But then there's another, you know, I mean, usually in terms of performing, I probably like the rock R&B stuff a lot more, just because it's so much more fun and the audience can really catch up.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of lyrics and stuff like that, I think there's some. I've really hit some gems. There's a song called "He Started to Sing" that I think is.
Oh, that was a great song.
I've hit. I kind of hit some pretty cool lyrics on that piece. Actually, Bruce Geitch's Janie Geitch. She calls her, you know, by her maiden name, Janie Kluwer. But she actually wrote the chord changes to it.
Oh wow!
And it was just, you know, that one I just kind of, whoa, dig these lyrics. It just kind of said it all in a lot of ways. But I think "Light Up the Candles" is a big one for me. "Time Will Bring You Love" is another one that's a really good piece. So some of those, and just in terms of what I look at them, is like, how did I hit that? In terms of talking to the, I guess it's Livingston Taylor he was one of my kids' teachers at Berkeley. He says, never write a lyric unless it pertains to the human condition. And Livingston's a sweetie pie, and what a great singer he is. I'm in the Taylor family.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're all unbelievable, and Livingston's a sweet guy. He's just a wonderful guy. And he became really good friends with Will. While Will was at Berkeley.
Cool.
And Will, he does Livingston said, "Never write a lyric unless it pertains to the human condition." and whenever I see Livingston, I says, "Hey, how you doing? Is everything pertaining to the human condition?" He says, "Shut up, Bill." he's a sweetie pie, a wonderful guy.
I'm gonna move up 1 or 2 inches here for the
Okay.
last question. Just get out of these guys' way.
There you go. I'll move my foot.
Sorry.
Cool. Yep. Man, that thing's a baby camera.
Yeah.
You know, if you feed it, it'll grow.
How about that?
Of all of the live performances that you've done over the years, which one to you is the most memorable?
Wow. Gee. I mean, you know, there's memorable in terms of how big the audience was. We did 500,000 people one time with Chicago.
Oh wow!
Us and Grover Washington.
Holy cow!
It was a We the People concert in Philadelphia.
Oh okay.
Right on those steps that Rocky ran up. Yeah, those things right there.
Oh wow!
And they had timed speakers going out. It was like 14 blocks of humanity.
Holy cow!
So I mean, but that was. I don't think we played all that well.
Yeah.
I don't think it made any difference, really. You know? Who cares? At that point, you're just going, "Oh my God, this is just a sea of people." So maybe that might have been the biggest one. One memorable show was we did a couple of years ago, or about a year and a half ago. We were in Iraq, playing at Camp Victory. Me and Tamara and Will, Carmen, Bobby Watson, and Herman Matthews.
Oh wow!
And Dave Jenkins, Bobby Kimball, and me.
Uh-huh.
And Dave had just finished his Pablo Cruz tunes.
Oh wow!
And the alarm went off, and somebody sent a missile over the wire.
Ooh!
So everybody hit the deck, and this giant boom happened.
Oh wow!
And so that was, you know, that's some serious music critics over there.
I bet.
They didn't like our playing. Then we found out. I mean, Bobby didn't tell me until after we were home, but he says I got in a Jeep with a guy, and he took me over to what it was. You could fit 2 of your houses in the hole of this thing.
Oh my
He
goodness!
says, and they were aiming for us. They were aiming for the music. The thing is that they can't hit the broadside of the barn. They got these missiles. But it was a week after the word got out that Bin Laden had been killed.
Oh!
So what happened is the day that they found that out, 60 missiles came over the wire because they were kind of angry.
Uh-huh.
They weren't too happy about it. I don't see that they still are, to tell you the truth. I don't really particularly give a shit. I'm sorry you're unhappy about it. We didn't particularly like that guy too much.
And then I've got one more question. Do you have anything new, or anything new either in the works or coming out?
Well, you know, there's always something in the works.
Uh-huh.
You know, I mean, I remember years ago somebody said, you know, Stevie Wonder has shelves full of songs that nobody's ever heard. and he'll write the song, and he'll record them with like a drum, bass, and piano, and one vocal, and put it away. And then when it comes time to do an album, he'll just dig through all the stuff and go that one, that one, and that one, and then he'll call those demos, and then the band will learn them, and they'll put them on, or he'll take it to the Synclav, or put it on Pro Tools, or whatever it is he's doing. You know? And I'm kind of that way. I try to make sure that I get an okay, relatively good mix of whatever demo and whatever shape it's in. I put it on my playlist.
Oh, there you go.
And then when it comes time to do an album, like when I did my last album, I sent about 9 CDs worth of stuff to the record company. And what I kind of wanted to do on that album, I said, well, I know that, me and Bruce Geitch have been talking about doing a real swampy blues album. Sort of like Angelina.
Yeah, that was a great
kind of a song like that,
Yeah.
or anything kind of along that line, real kind of bluesy. And I was thinking, well, maybe that's the way to go on this next record. Well, the record company, guys at the record company, and my co-producer Mark Edinger, they said, I'm listening to all your stuff, and I'm going, well, there's a bluesy thing, there's a bluesy thing, there's a bluesy thing, but we listen to all of them. And you got 1 or 2 jazz pieces that are great, like Never Let Go. And there's some pop, real straight, in-your-face pop, like Never Been Afraid. There's some great R&B. Why are you going to take just this one little small bit and alienate your whatever audience you already have now that expect all of that from you, and give them just that little bit? And you don't really have a blues audience, so you're going to be trying to buy a blues audience at your age. Whereas all these other people have been doing just that. Johnny Lang started when he was 14. And that's his audience, and he knows how to play to him. And so I went, you're actually right. He was making a lot of sense. He said, what you should do, and I wouldn't tell this to most people, is what you should do is all of it. So I kind of went, he said, look, we know we're not going to get a platinum album. There's no radio, there's no retail, there's nothing going on. So we're really making this record for your fans, and we're trying to build a little bit more of a fan base, which we did in Europe. A lot of people in Europe, we got nothing but great reviews on.
I've heard you're huge over there.
Well, no, it's not huge, but nobody's really huge over there except the people that are huge worldwide. Lady Gaga doesn't do clubs over there. I do. I'll pack them. But it's like that. So the move is that I think at some point in the game, whatever audience you have, you try to play to. And that's kind of what I do. So I've got all kinds of different music, and in a way, it kind of frees me up. It doesn't make me the kind of money that you make when you do just one thing and everybody knows about it, and that's what you're doing, and you stay within that demographic, and you just keep that going. I've always been. There's a couple of artists that I've always thought was really, really cool. I'm not a big fan of who's the guy? Played with Buffalo Springfield.
Neil Young?
Neil Young.
Okay.
How can I forget his name? But what I loved about him, and when he put out the Harvest album, it was a really good pop album for him. His tempos were all back. The album was really well produced. And his manager's going, oh, give me 4 more like that. I just did that. I'm going to do this now. And he did some kind of electronic record, and then he did some kind of country record, and he, just about when it looks like it's time for him to stick with something, hey, we finally got you.
Nah, he's off to something else.
He goes and does something else. And then, it might not have sold the amount of records that he did, but people are always interested in what the hell is he going to do now? I think he's going out with Crazy Horse pretty quick.
I think he's already out with Crazy Horse. I think he's already out there, yeah.
So it's like, wow, cool. And he just did this whole that concert at Ryman in Nashville with all these country folks. Wearing a country, a cowboy hat, and the whole thing's going, Neil. The next thing you know, it's rocking in the USA. Come on, give me a break. This guy's just all over the place. Now think of him, and then think of Johnny Depp as an actor. The guy does, he does Scissorhands, and then he turns around and does Pirates of the Caribbean, and he does these really deep pieces. He did the Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing. He does whatever comes to him that feels like, well, I'm going to go here now. And he's done movies that you've never, you never even saw. something about Arizona, which was really an awesome movie. With Jerry Lewis and
Oh,
Faye
wow.
Dunaway. I mean, I saw the movie awesome movie, great movie. It's just, I think he got scale for it.
Mm-hmm.
Clooney does stuff like that.
Yeah.
He'll do a movie where he's getting scale for it.
Yeah.
We're talking $500 a day
Right.
for George Clooney. But then he does Ocean's 11, 12,
Right.
13, and makes $5 billion.
Right.
So he can afford to do scale, but he does the project just because he digs the project.
Right.
So I mean, there's something kind of cool about those guys who can manage to. They really have to do that. They don't have to think about money at that point.
Uh-huh.
A lot of musicians have a tendency. They're kind of stuck in that kind of commerce circle that they have to keep going. So and I'm in that in some ways, but I'm also such a stubborn son of a bitch that I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And if that means nothing, just watching TV and reruns of South Park, that's what it's going to be. And if it's something else, then it's going to be that. But it usually for me at this stage of the game, it just takes a little kick into like, hey, get going. Like this, we just did a gig, just me and Tamara, doing a gig, just like what we're going to do tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Just last night up in Seattle, above Seattle, and it was like, oh yeah, and suddenly I just did this little thing at the radio station. I'm going, well, I'm starting to get musically charged just because I'm working.
Right.
I'm going, hey, this is kind of fun. I'll get my hands back together again. So I think it music just leads to more of itself. So I know I've just taken you around a big turn, and I can't remember what the question you asked. Something about where's your car parked?
Yeah.
I'm working.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, well, somebody sent me something on Facebook. He says, I'm working on a cure for ADD. Nice cake. Huh? What? And then I realized, I said, what the? Oh, I got it. This is good. Yeah. Gosh, I had to just, I didn't even know who it was. I just wrote, yeah, that's clever. I like that. A cure for ADD. Nice cake. Where's the shoe store? Thank you. Anyway, so like that.
Alrighty,
Cool.
well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I definitely am going to be both of your shows tomorrow night. And I will see you then.
Yeah, just don't throw underwear on the stage.
Okay, we'll do.
Mert's gonna wear his
Oh.
on the outside of his clothes. It's that, what was it? The Woody Allen movie? You remember Bananas?
Yeah.
Where they finally take over the island, kind of like Castro's Cuba and stuff like that. It's just, the guy takes over the island and says, "Oh, great! The revolutionaries have taken over the island." He says, "Great! Now the national language of the island will now be Swedish, and everybody has to wear their underwear on the outside of their clothes." What is you doing? We just wanted to get rid of it. So, wow. I saw a thing on Woody Allen, it was like a 2-hour biography on Woody Allen. I gotta say, man, what a nutcake. Gosh, how whack. I kind of lost track of him for years, and then all of a sudden I'm going, hey, God, he's really a genius. He's
Yeah.
awesome. There's another guy, just makes whatever movies he wants to make.
Absolutely.
Then he goes on the road playing clarinet in a Dixieland band.
Because he can.
Because he can,
Yeah.
yeah. He can afford it.
Hey, I wanted to let you know, in St. Helens, I was going through and